Going on the Winners Win podcast. It's your boy Luso 2.0, and today we're talking about 4 reasons why your new releases fail. Now, before we get into that, please feel free to, do some housekeeping things, like this video, share it, subscribe to the Winners Win channel. If you listen to this on any type of podcast platform, leave a 5-star review and leave a review below so I can figure out how I can better serve you. Now, today, like I said, we're talking about 4 reasons why your new releases fail. And the 4 reasons why are: no one noticed it, people noticed it but decided they didn't want to try it, people tried it but decided not to keep using it, people liked it but didn't tell their friends. 4 reasons why. First one, no one noticed it. So I guess the first step really is just getting yourself noticed. Now, there is a couple of ways to get yourself noticed, but I guess the first thing is consistency. Are you posting every single day? Now, I know right now I took a little bit of a break, probably for a few days, but I got to get back on my grind. No matter what it is, I got to try to find some ways to just start squeezing some stuff in. So yeah, are people noticing it? Are people seeing you post every single day? Are they seeing you post every couple of days? It's been 3 days for me. It's the longest I've ever been. So I'm just getting back on my grind again. But are you being consistent with your posting? That is the number one thing, though. You have to continue to be consistent. If you're consistent, eventually people will notice it. If it's consistent material, and then on top of that, if it's material that's better, then of course you're going to get noticed on your material. So that's the 2 things right there, right? You got to start posting it more and get better at it. Now, what I mean by getting better at it, I mean having some type of structure built when you actually are posting your stuff, right? Think of it as copywriting, right? And I know I could probably just do a whole entire episode on copywriting itself, but try to figure out different tips and tricks in order to make it more entertaining. You have to, I have a friend, Landlord GP. He actually runs on buildings. I've seen him jumping over chairs, jumping over cars, all that stuff, just to get people to notice this stuff more. And then they come and they go, oh, okay, cool. And they just look and stuff. So like I said, the first step really just comes down to getting your stuff noticed, right? Are you marketing it better? The second step, and by the way, marketing it to people, that's really like the higher hanging fruit, right? But anyway, though, the second one is people noticed it but decided they didn't want to try it. So people seen your stuff, but it just wasn't for them. And it's okay. You have to be okay with people not wanting to try your material or try your things, or anything that you got going on. You have to be okay with people not wanting to try it. I actually had someone recently, I'm not even sure if they want to be in the challenge or not, though, but they were in the challenge, my 2.0 challenge, but then they tried to basically take over the challenge for themselves and stuff and say certain things, and then they thought I was offended by it, which I wasn't offended by them trying to, ask me, trying to tell me, but it was my challenge. But I just told him, hey, listen, if you decide that you don't want to do the challenge, you don't participate in the challenge, that is completely fine. You do not have to. I am not holding you by, the collar. I don't have a gun to your head saying, hey, do this challenge right now. No. Sometimes your challenge is not for some people, and that's okay. It does not bother me. It shouldn't bother you. In fact, that should make you more excited, because it's like, okay, cool, you're not in this challenge. Thank goodness you're not in this challenge. Just thank goodness. You literally are holding the challenge back. That's how you should look at it. Third one is, right, people tried it but decided not to keep using it. So people, may have tried your product or service, but then it wasn't good. So this just comes down to actually providing some value. You have to 10x the value, right? That's what they always say, right? If you're selling something for $1,000, you should be selling $10,000 worth of pretty much information, right? If you're selling something for $10,000, you think for $100,000. If you're selling for $100,000, it would be $1 million. It's always about 10xing their profit. When people feel as though you're giving them 10 times the value, they are just going on it, right? You see, I put out a lot of free content, right? There's no way I can't be a millionaire eventually, because all this content is content that helps people grow their businesses exponentially. And I was dropping gems on the Closed Door Conversation podcast yesterday, and she was just like, wow, conversation gym after gym after gym after gym. And I'm just sitting there, and they were just like, wow, this is cool. She was liking all this stuff that Jim was doing. She was like, this is actually surprising that someone so young as yourself is actually dropping as many gems. I'm not used to this, yada, yada, yada. But that was the point, though, is that I kept dropping gems because I kept giving value. And you have to actually make sure what you're selling is actually good. right? It can't just be, oh, I'm just doing it, and I think it's going to be good now. It's just going to be there. No, you have to really put your all into it. Put as much value as you can into it. And if it's not good, try to build onto it. So let's build on what we were talking about, right? The 4 reasons why your new releases failed, right? And it had to be, no one mentioned it. People noticed it, but they decided they didn't want to try it. People tried it, but decided not to keep using it. Or people liked it, but didn't tell their friends, right? And like we said, the first one is no one noticed it. So no one noticed it. You have to get better at marketing. You have to be consistent. You have to keep putting yourself out there every single day, trying to get people to bite, right? Like putting a hook into the water with the bait so someone could bite onto it. Second one, people noticed it, but they didn't want to try it, is they noticed it, but they didn't want to try it because it's just not for them. That's okay. You have to play on the law of polarity. That's fine if they don't want it. It's not going to be for everybody. The third one is people tried it, but decided not to keep using it because you actually have to make sure your product is good. Your product or service has to actually be good. You can't just talk about it. And that's when people liked it, but didn't tell their friends because you don't have no referral system in order to get them to refer their friends to it. So how do you get referral systems? Remember, we talked about shared interest plus shared space equals customer retention, which also is going to equal referrals, right? So I was actually dropping gems that, hey, listen, anybody that gets on my podcast, I'm actually just a thing that I just started doing. I have to go back to some of the people that were on there already, but I got all these letters made. I'm sending them physical letters. Like this is actually, it's called direct response copywriting. It's actually something Dan Kennedy did and still does, and see, it's still effective today. It's actually sending legit letters to his people, like literally physical letters to the people's addresses, and actually getting in their face, right? Shared interest plus shared, you know what I mean? That's all true, right? So I literally I'm sending it right there like a regular letter, sending it to them, just thanking them for being on my podcast and stuff like that, giving them the steps to try to go to 2.0 challenge. They want to do the 2.0 challenge. And then on top of that, on top of the 2.0 challenge, I also give them something then I give them referrals cards to refer people to me. Then people who do the 2.0 challenge, they get something. They get a package or something like that. When I get a new release once a month, I like to just reach out to them, just send them, hey, I'm thinking about you type of thing, right? It's a matter of actually getting in front of their face more and more times, right? Actually physically, right? So online, yes, online is cool, but then you have to actually be in their house, right? And it's the same thing with being successful. We talked about this in my 2.0 challenge. You have to really surround your environment with your stuff, right? So you have to really, your environment has to be your everything that you could think of. It has to be your, if you want to be a motivational speaker, such as myself, I got books all around. I got books around me, just awards for me winning different skill set things. It's just all about shared interest, but that also helps me keep buying more of the same product because it's surrounding me so much. So that's really the 4 different reasons why your new releases fail. I want you to pick which one you think is the reason for you and comment that below, right? I want you guys to, on top of that, man, I want you guys to, like I said, like this video, share, subscribe to Winner Wins channel. If you listen on any type of podcast platform, 5-star review, and leave a review below so I can figure out how I can better serve you. Winners win, losers lose, and you pray for success like this. 2.0 out.